All right, so let's talk more about this. Joining me now, Janet Johnson, criminal defense attorney and legal analyst. Janet, so great to see you. So first of all, we just heard in the report there from Natasha, the families of these men say, hey, they made an honest mistake. But whether or not it was a mistake, does that matter when it comes to the law?
Yeah, I mean, it's not a defense. So it's a strict liability crime. You cannot bring ammunition to Turks and Caicos. That is their law, and we have to abide by the laws of the countries that we travel to. Now, is it mitigation? It might be. There have been other cases where they have found exceptional circumstances. So essentially saying this was from a prior trip, TSA missed it. That's been one of the things that the men have been saying. And if he has no record, that certainly would weigh in his favor.
So this is obviously, Janet, a different legal system. But what do you think will be the biggest hurdle for these defendants?
I think the biggest hurdle is that they don't have a right to carry guns in Turks and Caicos. We come from a country where we take certain things for granted because those are our laws. But going to another country, Turks and Caicos is going to want to show the world that they're taking this seriously, that if you come here, even accidentally, and you break their strict gun laws, there will be consequences. So I think that is a hurdle. On the other side of it, though, is we have good relations with this country. They're dependent to some extent on tourism from America, unlike the Brittany Griner situation where we have no relationship with Russia and they have no reason to cut any Americans any breaks. This is a country where they will want to have good relations and they'll want to show people, look, we take it seriously, but as long as you play by our rules, we may cut you a break.
Yeah, and Jen, I wanted to ask you about that. I mean, how much do you think America's influence and, our many tourist dollars that go to Turks and Caicos will ultimately influence this case?
I think it will. I think as long as they show that they are contrite, as long as they show that they want to obey the laws and that, going forward, they will obey the laws. I think that some of these sentences in past cases, they've been as low as probation, even, several months in jail up to the statutory maximum. I don't think that we're looking at that. I don't think we're looking at long prison sentences. But, I do think they want Americans to come back, but they also want them to follow their laws.
And you mentioned Brittany Griner, and there's obviously a major similarity to what happened to her in Russia. Something was found in her luggage. She was detained at the airport. She was ultimately sent to prison. There were a lot of mixed opinions on what should happen to her, a lot of mixed opinions here in America. She was, though, ultimately able to leave Russia. Do you think the same happens in these cases? Obviously, different countries, but a similar situation.
Right. And a lot of people are pointing out, some people said, look, she went to that country, she should follow their laws. How many of those people have a different opinion in this situation? I do think that it will be sort of American influence overcoming these strict laws to some extent. And I don't think it's going to, be sort of the same equation that we had to go through with Brittany Griner, where we have to do a swap of prisoners. I think that we are going to have a diplomatic solution as well as a legal solution. And there will be a slap on the wrist. There might be fines, which is what previously had been handed down. I don't think extensive prison is in the interest of either country.
All right. Criminal defense attorney, legal analyst, Janet Johnson. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.